It's officially July 1st, which means it's time for another monthly net worth update. Last month, my investment portfolio was worth $95,323. After contributing another $2,086 last month, my portfolio now sits at $95,461. At first glance, it looks like my portfolio went up, but that's actually not the full story. The stock market has pulled back over the last few weeks, and despite investing over $2,000, my portfolio only increased by $138. Today, I'll show you exactly what happened, where I invested my money, which funds held up the best, and how close I am to reaching my first 100,000 milestone. Hello. Welcome back to Invest with Intention YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am on a mission to turn 13,000 into 50,000 by investing into ETFs, index funds, and high conviction stocks. If you enjoy real portfolio updates every month, hit the like button and subscribe so you can follow the journey to 100,000 and beyond. Now, let's jump into my portfolio, okay? As of today, my total investment portfolio is worth $95,461, okay? Compared to last month, that's only a $138 increase. The reason this month I invested last month I invested another 1,800 into my brokerage and Roth IRA and $286 into my employer's 403b. That's a total of $2,086 invested during June. Without those contributions, my portfolio will actually be worth about $93,375, meaning the market reduced my portfolio value by roughly $1,948 over the past month. Okay, this is a great reminder that investing isn't always about watching your portfolio go straight up. Sometimes your contributions do all the heavy lifting, and that's exactly why I continue investing every month regardless of what the market is doing. Okay, so let's start with my brokerage account. We are here right now. So last month my portfolio value, so let's go down here, my portfolio value was $36,788. Today it's worth $37,032, as you can see over here, a small increase overall. However, my total gains dropped from $7,764 to $6,541, as you can see over here, okay, because of the recent market pullback. Even though my gains decreased, I continued buying throughout the month. Here's what changed, okay? So let's look at my positions. Okay, so first up is FSELX. Okay, shares increased from 79 shares to 83.5 shares, as you can see over here. The total invested increased from $3,563 to $3,853, as you can see over here. Okay, this remains one of my strongest performance despite pulling back from a 63% gain to, so it was here, if you look here, you see in my last update video, net worth update video, it was 63% gain. Now it pulled back to around 55% gain. Okay, my next position is FTech, okay, which is right here. As you can see, shares went from 23.2 shares to 23.7 shares. Okay, not a lot, but that's all I could afford to add to this one. Okay, and my next app is let's go with FXAIX. Okay, that's the Fidelity S&P 500. Okay, my shares increased from 23 point, sorry, it increased from 20.99 shares to 21.7 shares. Okay, that's the increase difference over here. Okay, next one is SCHD. Okay, as you look over here, you can see that shares increased from 131 shares to just over 139 shares. Okay, even though every it looks like every position pulled back a little. Okay, my next one is SCHG. Okay, shares increased from 219.8 shares to 231.2 shares, as you can see over here. Okay, and it pulled back a little bit. I think it was up like 13% and it's now around 10%. Okay, um, even though every position pulled back slightly because of the market, I continue adding to every core holding. Long term, that's exactly what I want to be doing. Okay, so we are going to go over to my Roth IRA. Okay, and then we will look at how that one has done. So let's go over here to my Roth IRA. Okay, now let's look at my Roth. Last month, my the total value of my Roth IRA portfolio was $17,647. Okay, today it sits at $17,706 dollars. Okay, almost flat. Again, the market erased most of my monthly contributions. Okay, FSELX remains my largest winner here. Okay, as you can see. So let's look at it over here. Even though after the recent decline, it's still up over 200%, as you can see here. And my total shares is at 50.9 shares, as you can see. Okay, my total invested is $1,186 in my FSELX position. Okay, even after a recent pullback, this position is still up 206%, as you can see, making it one of the best performing investment in my entire portfolio. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is FTech. This position is pretty small. Shares increased from 4.8 shares to 5.2 shares. Okay, total invested increased from $1,191 dollars to, sorry, it increased from 191 dollars to $1,091 to $1,191. Okay, my next one is FXAIX. Okay, shares increased from 18.3 shares to 18.5 shares, as you can see over here. Okay, this is my FXAIX, the Fidelity's S&P 500. Okay, the total invested increase from, okay, $2,863 to $2,923, as you can see here. Okay, the next one is SCHD. Shares increased from 40.7 shares to 42 shares. Okay, total invested increased from $1,077 to $1,110. Okay, that's what changed from with SCHD. Okay, next up is my SCHG position. Okay, shares increased from 86 shares to 92 shares, as you can see here. Total invested increased from $2,655 to $2,855, as you can see over here. Even though the market pulled back during June, I continue adding to all of my core holdings inside my Roth IRA because my focus is on long-term growth, not short-term market movements. Okay, so let's go over to my rollover IRA. Okay, which is over here. My rollover IRA. Um, Last month, my total value was $10,897. Today it says at $10,598, as you can see here. This account declined slightly during June. Since I am not actively contributing to this account anymore, its performance is mostly entirely driven by market movement. Here's what changed. Okay, FTech shares remain at 10.6 shares. Okay, total invested stayed at 1,900. Okay, even with the recent decline, this position is still up over 60%, as you can see here. My next one is FXAIX, the S&P 500 for Fidelity. Shares remains at 20.5 shares. Okay, total invested is $4,080. This position continues to perform well and is still up more than 31%, as you can see here. And my ICHD position shares remains at 38.3 shares. Total invested remained at $1,026. Although the gains pulled back slightly during the month, I am continuing to hold this position for the long term. Since I no longer contribute to this account, all of the month-to-month movement comes from changes in the market rather than new investments. Okay, so we are going to go back here and look at my employer 403b. Okay, so let's go over here and you can see my employer 403b. All right, so keep me here. So this is my employer 403b. This account is invested in the Vanguard 2065 target retirement fund, I believe. Okay, and we are in 2026, so it's pretty good. I'm continuing to contribute through my payroll every paycheck. It's another reminder that retirement investing doesn't have to be complicated. Okay, consistent investing is more important than trying to perfectly time the market. Okay, and as you can see, I think this number was $29,990 in my last update video, and today it's just at $30,123. Okay, rate of return in the last year is 22.8%. This is big, right? This is big, so I'm happy with that. Okay, okay, so with that, looking back at June, I'm actually happy with this month. Did my portfolio have a great month? No. The market was down. My gains decreased. Several of my funds pulled back, but I kept buying anyway. This is exactly how long-term wealth is built. When prices fall, I buy more shares. When prices rise, I buy more shares. Either way, I stay consistent. Okay, so that's the June net worth update. Current portfolio $95,461. Road to 100,000 continuous. We are getting closer every single month. If you enjoyed today's update, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what's your current investing goal? First 1,000, first 10,000, first 100,000. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.